I find those intriguing, what I call local stories, and I try to dive into those.
For me, it opened my eyes to how many things are falling through the crack, how much crime is actually out there that we don't really know about because we're being bombarded with just what mainstream media wants us to watch and see. And I was actually fascinated by it.
Today on the We Share podcast, Alex interviews Julie about her true crime podcast, Rise in Crime. Welcome to the We Share podcast. I'm Julie.
I'm Alex.
We share ourselves and we provide a platform for others to share.
We believe everyone has a purpose and a story to tell.
And we're back on the We Share podcast. I'm Julie.
And I'm Alex.
Happy Halloween, Alex.
I know. Happy Halloween this Friday.
Yes. Are you dressing up?
Do you know what? We've talked about how much I dress up in the past before.
Yes, you have so many costumes.
And I have not donned one Halloween costume yet this year.
You're kind of my go-to when I'm like, oh, I know Alex will have this for my costume if I need it.
It's crazy. I bought this awesome wig and I've got to find a way to wear it. But it's just so happened that I missed Boo at the Zoo because I was in Florida for real estate convention. And then there's a trunk or treat today that I've opted out of. And we didn't end up doing the Teton Cancer event.
So that
no
didn't
Boo to
happen.
Cancer with radio stations. So I'm like, I think I might get off with no costumes this year.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
wore a witch's hat at Boo at the Zoo. And I've promised my grandson that on Halloween I'll wear the witch's hat again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have a witch's hat. They're on. Okay, this you might if you end up seeing a picture of me today, you might think this is an actual costume, but this is not. I'm just exhausted from staying up until 1 a.m. watching the Dodgers baseball game.
18 innings.
18 innings, longest
Crazy
game in
game.
history. Freddie Freeman, the only guy to have 2 walk-off home runs in a World Series final.
Yeah.
And I witnessed it from the comfort of my own couch.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
Freddie Freeman. I don't follow baseball that much. I mean, it's the sport I know a ton about because of my dad, but I don't have a favorite Major League Baseball team. So I haven't been watching the World Series, but every interview I've ever seen with Freddie Freeman, I'm like, you want to hang out with that guy.
I know.
There's just this energy that comes from him that's amazing.
He is. He's huge. And it was also great. I don't know. The innings are all a blur because it was like 2 games. It was like a doubleheader without the middle break.
Yeah.
But Clayton Kershaw came out as a reliever, and he literally only pitched to one guy. So 2 outs when they brought him out, and he pitched to one guy and got him out. And you're like, that was amazing. But then he was done.
Yeah.
And then who would have thought that, I keep wanting to say Calvin Klein, but it's Kevin. What's his first name? Klein. The red bearded guy.
Oh, yeah.
He ends up like, literally, they just brought him on not too long ago. And so he made history for sure last night. It's
truly
amazing.
That's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It is. You can be a nobody in June and rocking the entire baseball world in October.
Yeah.
That's how fast it happens in baseball.
And it's not like NFL where, tie, we're going to end. No, there's no tie and just ending it. Or basketball, which just has me up in like arms lately, like it's all fixed. Or
do
the
you even want to be a fan of it anymore?
It's kind of like, so baseball, it's just tried and true. I just love baseball and
Well, we're going to talk true crime today.
But we're going to talk about you and crime.
So you just said crime. And the NBA scandal is phenomenal to me. So 2 indictments, federal court, very, very different cases, but they have tentacles that reach to each other. There's 2 parts of this that I just find so intriguing. One part is the Italian crime families that we thought were like squished, that they weren't really working that much. And now federal agents are saying, no. They're vibrant. They've just been a lot more quiet about it. And these angles are so interesting to me from the crime standpoint, not because of the NBA, but because they find these industries, these mob families find these industries, and then they take over the industry, like the shipping industry or the garbage truck industry, or this is a crazy one, the laundry industry. Like, it is weird where these crime families find something and then they start to control it. And then they start doing illegal activities within those industries. Right. And they pull in people like members of the NBA, and they're in the middle of fixed poker games.
Right.
It is so intriguing how deep this is.
They just know what people like.
Yeah.
And what they're addicted to.
And gambling.
Obsessions. Yeah. Yeah. So gambling is an easy one in sports, Yeah.
So they had these illegal poker games going on. That was the one indictment. The other indictment is NBA players and coaches who would pull themselves from games. And you don't just bet on scores, but you can bet on anything now. Yeah. So in the NBA, you bet on players' individual performances. And so if a player knows they can fix it by faking an injury in the first quarter, whatever the bets were on that individual player are going to be drastically changed based upon that player, quote, voluntarily by faked injury taking themselves out of the game. Well, they'll fix these bets by them, like the bad guys getting a hold of an NBA player and saying, hey, I need you to bow out of that game in the first quarter. And he'll be like, okay, I'm done. And he'll get a cut. Yeah. And then it changes the books in Vegas. And so that's the other indictment. You've got all these people faking injury or throwing games in order to win big on bets.
Right. Like for money.
Yep. All for money.
All for money.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay. About today's episode, we're doing something different. We love to do things differently here. I just thought it would be fun since Julie is so into like crime and news talk and so great at it that we would dive in and ask her some questions about, about what she does for her other job.
Why not have 3?
Yeah. Why have 2 when you can have 3?
Right.
Why have 3 when you can have 4?
There's abundance out there.
Yes. Somebody's got to do it. But so let's segue into this. Originally, your daughter started and launched with her husband, Murder with My Husband. MWMH. I'm like acronym struggling here. And that's like the top 9,900 podcasts of all podcasts. And for those of you that know podcasts out there, there are so many podcasts.
It's so hard to even break the top 100
Yes.
now.
So they're in there. How long have they been going?
So they started, this all happened she had a separate job and her husband had a business.
Okay.
And COVID rolled around. His father owns a ranch in Wyoming. And my son-in-law's father owns a ranch in Wyoming. And when COVID hit and they shut down the United States, his dad called him and said, come to the ranch. Let's just let everything, play out wherever you're at. You both work from home. You can do your jobs there. So Garrett just changed his shipping addresses to his dad's ranch. And Peyton went and she was doing her job, which was social media management for a company.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And she could do that from home. I think they were there 2 days and she looked at Garrett and she says, I'm going to lose my mind. So we have to do something. So he got on Amazon. He ordered all of the equipment and they recorded their first show from the floor of their bedroom at the ranch.
That's so fun.
They don't even have the first show in existence anymore because it was so bad. Because they just threw it out there. Yeah. They just threw it out there. But she worked this podcast. She was everything on the podcast, the editor, the writer, everything, the researcher, everything on the podcast for a year before they finally broke. And when they broke, it broke big. So it was about January, February of 2021 when it broke big. And since then, they have just done great. They now have their own media company.
Yeah, Ono Media.
Ono Media. They are expanding that brand. He's in the middle of opening Ono restaurants.
Really?
Yes. He's going to open a bagel shop. So there's going to be another arm. So there's Ono Media, Oh No, the restaurant arm. And they're just the people who believe, why not try? Which, you guys, is half the battle.
And they're the perfect age to do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, go chase your dreams. Go.
Yeah, and
go
they do
it.
They do. And guess what? They've had failures. They've had successes. They sold the business that Garrett was running when they started, and she obviously quit her social media management job, and they just do Oh No Media full time now. And they have several employees, including me. And so in May of, it was 2.5 years ago in May, actually it was March time, Peyton came to me and she said, I want you to be the news end of Oh No Media. And so they pay me to do 2 podcasts a week on breaking news. So I research trials that have ended. I look into breaking crime stories, and I just keep people updated. It's usually between 30 to 40 minutes twice a week. And
Mondays and Thursdays. And frequently 3+ stories. Every once in a while, it might be only 2 stories, but usually 3 or more stories. So there's these like snack size bites of crime that keep you updated on what's going on in true crime. Right. So that's what I found so interesting. So I'm like, okay, Julie does this, rise in crime. Everyone that knows me, I don't really like.
You're a self-help book girl.
Yes. I don't like crime, although I did watch SVU.
Yeah.
I did watch those shows, and they're entertaining, or like lawyer legal shows. I can handle little bits of crime, but Julie deals with like hard stuff issues daily. Like, so your daughter saw that news talk, that's your skill set. And she's like, let's add a layer of crime extra. And you're just so good at it. Just to refresh before this podcast, I just listened to your latest drop that was on Monday. There were 3 stories there, a cheerleader, a strangler, and a shooter. Let's call those 3. But all violent acts and stories that I had not heard of.
Mm-hmm. I work really hard to try to find things that aren't mainstream. So if you want me to do a deep dive into like Gabby Petito or Brian Koberger, I'm not going to do it because that's already being done.
Right.
I find those intriguing, what I call local stories, and I try to dive into those.
Well, and it just, for me, opened my eyes to how many things are falling through the cracks, how much crime is actually out there that we don't really know about because we're being bombarded with just what mainstream media wants us to watch and see. And it's, I was actually fascinated by it. So that was one of the questions I was going to ask you is how do you find your topics?
So I do not let AI write my podcasts. I refuse to do that. I think there's a lot of people using that tool. I think it's a dangerous tool. But what I do use AI for, and I use both ChatGPT and Grok, is I will ask, let's say, ChatGPT, tell me the 4 biggest cases that completed this week. And I have already built a profile in ChatGPT. That AI service knows that I'm a podcaster.
Right.
So the information I get back is very relative to rise in crime because I've introduced myself to that AI service. And so, like, I wrote a story last night for the podcast that will drop on Thursday. And it is a crime story out of Connecticut that I know no one has heard of, but the trial just completed. It was a man very high up, appointed by the governor in that state, who was basically strong arming contractors into giving him like a $40,000 payment for awarding a contract to build an elementary school.
Oh, my goodness.
And he had 11 felonies. He was found guilty on all of them. I told the backstory to it. It's very interesting. You're not going to hear that anywhere except for Connecticut.
No.
Yeah. And I do try to also cover crime that's not bloody and gory all of the time. Sometimes you have to. In fact, the first case from Monday was the cheerleader who got shot at the bonfire. That was a very gory. She died
Oh, it had to be with as many gunshots as were in her body and other kids. And bonfires are a thing here, right?
Yes.
So it's a
very
teenage
mid-America.
Yeah. Like get together for a bonfire, a bunch of fun.
You got people drinking and smoking weed, and you're going to lose your mind a little bit sometimes. And I think that's what this kid did. He started hitting on the girl.
Yeah.
And somebody stepped in. But this case was incredibly intriguing, which is another reason I covered it, is because there's the stand your ground law that's coming into place with this case.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have the right to protect himself? He was carrying a gun at the bonfire. He was being aggressive with the girl. Some other young man stepped in protecting the girl, and he pulled his gun, shot the girl, shot the young man that was beating him up. Does he have a right with stand your ground?
Well, you could argue he has a right, but not if there's alternative substances.
Yeah.
Because if alcohol is present, then I think all rules go out the window.
Yeah. So there's a lot of intrigue to that case, and that's why I covered it. It did make a few national headlines, but in a 3-minute video montage, and 3 minutes would be long on, say, CBS or NBC.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually going to be a 90-second package. You're not going to get into the stand your ground law. You're not going to get into the deeper rules of this. I also asked the question at the end of that segment, are there going to be charges filed against the kid who started beating him up? There might be.
Right.
I mean, it just all depends on what the local government chooses to do there and what the DA sees fit. And sometimes what the DA sees fit can cause massive community outrage, which is what happened in the second case that I covered on Monday.
Yeah, because there were three. And so I might blur some of them. Which case was it, your first, second, or third of that story, was the one where they donated her organs?
So that was the first one, which was just
the
beautiful.
cheerleader. Yeah, so there was we don't hear those stories very often.
And I try very hard to remember the victims. I couldn't in the second story. Those two girls have chosen to stay anonymous because it's a story of date rape that is just horrific. It's disgusting. So I couldn't honor those victims. But in the first case, when the cheerleader was the one who died, they got her to the hospital. I try so hard to honor the victims because I don't want to make money off of people's tragedies I want to make sure we remember the people and we understand the justice system.
Right. So just to be clear, so the first girl, they kept her body alive on machines. They found someone for her heart. The parents really wanted to donate, and they did a beautiful thing.
7-year-old child received. She was a little nugget, by the way, this cheerleader. So it makes sense that her heart fit into a 7-year-old boy. So a 7-year-old boy was gifted her heart. And then an adult woman, was gifted her lungs.
Yeah.
She saved 2 lives.
Yeah. So
at a minimum, those are just the 2 we have been told about. They harvested more organs than that because the gunshot that killed her went into her head. So all of her other organs could be preserved.
Right. Yeah. So for me, that was like, oh, Julie brought it around. There's a little nugget for Alex to hold on to. The second case, the strangling, I have heard that it's a thing, though. Like,
it's a fetish.
Fetish, like choking out. I recently had a friend that shared a story with me, and her, let's just say family member, someone related to her, lost a husband to his fetish. Came home, and he was hanging in the garage. Yeah. So he had tried to choke himself out while
enjoying.
Yes, pleasuring himself. And his lunch was getting cold in the kitchen because it was going to just be a quick thing he did during his lunch hour. No longer with us. So, how people are finding out or doing this or like pushing that edge is just beyond me. But it's happening. And, gosh, if anyone's listening, just stay safe.
Be careful.
Yeah. No bonfires with guns, alcohol, no strangling.
Well, this was a teenage case. Yeah. The girls were 2 years. One was 2 years. One was 1 year younger than him. And he would engage these girls, help them feel loved and secure. But then he would force himself upon them And because he was a high-profile kid in his area.
Yes, and his dad was high profile.
His dad had prominence. He felt like he could get away with this. So as he would pleasure himself in very disgusting ways, by the way, because the felonies tell you in what ways he was doing that. And I list those felonies. I won't on here, but in Rising Crime, I list what he was charged with. He would also choke the female while he was doing these things. And one girl, he had choked her so badly, she had to spend time in the hospital, and she doesn't even have the same voice. He crushed her windpipe.
It's so bad. And he barely got any punishment.
So there's a juvenile law in Oklahoma. The DA decided that he was eligible for this juvenile law. He committed these rapes when he was 17. There was 11 felony charges. He was found guilty of all of them. He was supposed to be spending 78 years in prison. But because he was 17, she awarded him with a juvenile version of the sentence instead of an adult version of the sentence. He will not spend a single day in jail. He was in jail for this teeny amount of time when he was very first arrested. He will not spend a single minute in prison or jail. And he has to do a once-a-week therapy session to address his strangulation issues. And that ends when he turns 19, which is in 9 months.
Right. And then he's just going to be able to go to college parties and strangle like more, is how I feel. Like he got away with it. There wasn't enough of a punishment that I don't see how he will not reoffend.
Reform is probably not in this kid's future.
Yeah. Oh. And then the third case was...
It was so sad.
Yeah.
Again, they all I find themes that run through my podcast. Sometimes it's weird how this happens. The third case was also a form of dating. This guy found a beautiful girl. Did you see pictures of her? Mm-hmm. She's absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful girl. And he kind of targeted her, got her phone number somehow, started sending her flirty texts. They flirted back and forth. This is so breaking news that it's currently unsure, because they haven't quite released it yet, if they actually spent any significant time together or if it was just texts. But whatever it was, he pushed too far, showed up at her work in a stolen car, convinced her to come outside. She got in the car. He took her down the road, allegedly shot her in the head. And buried her body behind an abandoned elementary school.
In a shallow grave, and then lit his stolen car on fire. I'm like, how? This is crazy. There's crazy people out there.
And she probably thought she was just having a little fun in the dating world.
Yeah. Honestly, as naive as I was growing up.
Yeah, she's young, 24.
That could have been me. Mm-hmm. I'm glad my daughters are a little bit more leery of just... getting in someone's car.
One of the things she did, and let's offer this up, because I do try to make sure people, she shared her location. Mm-hmm. This is a tool you need to talk to your girls about.
Always. Yeah.
Have them always sharing their location. They also can schedule a check-in. Just like you have a gym buddy who holds you accountable for your workouts, have a dating buddy. An accountability partner for your dates. Because if you go on a date with somebody you don't know, call your girlfriend and say, hey, this is what he says we're doing. Here's my location. Call me in an hour and a half. Just check on me.
Yep.
And that I think it's great for the guy too to go, oh, she's got people in her life who are watching out for her.
Oh yeah. I share with all my children. They know all my locations. So, and I know there's
me too.
Just peace of mind.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing to do.
Or it can be stressful. Once when I was in Florida and my phone was I guess it was stuck and not updating. And I'm like, she's just in the middle of the street on Broadway. And I'm like, she's in an accident. So I excuse myself from the meeting. I get up and I go try to text her. Well, because she wasn't responding to text or call. And she was busy.
Yeah.
She was already at the Apple or something. It was just, but I panicked because I've gotten used to checking. Right. I'm a checker. So.
Let me share one more story about the sharing of locations. I covered a case where some young people, they threw a rock from a car. They had gone and gathered these rocks from a landscape decoration in front of a Walmart. They had them in the car.
Instead of water balloons.
Mm-hmm, and they were throwing them at oncoming cars. Well, this girl, I think this one was Oklahoma too. This girl, she had shared her location with her female partner. So it was her lesbian lover. And she always had her her location on with her partner. So she was headed to her mother's house, which was in the country, and she had to drive to it. Well, these kids went past her, threw the rock at her car. It went through the windshield, basically decapitated her.
Oh my gosh.
She wrecked and went off the side of the road. Well, they would have never found her if her location hadn't been shared with her girlfriend. The girlfriend called the mom and said, she should be at your house by now, and her location is showing her just off the road on this highway. So they converged. The mom went one way, she went the other. They met up at the location and they found her. Now, she did die, and this is horrible, but what if she had been still alive? And the fact that the location had been shared, they would have gotten EMS to her on time.
Right.
That's another important reason, because car accidents happen. If you don't have the location, they might, tumble down a canyon wall and they might still be alive. But if we don't know where they're at, we don't know where they're at.
Right.
So it's another valuable reason to share your location.
That is a horrible story.
It is. These are crimes that you wouldn't think of, right?
No. And what happened to those kids?
They ended up getting charged because they were able to. This was an interesting one. They were able to
manslaughter, right?
Yeah, they were able to triangulate their cell phones. All 3 kids had geo-tracking on the phone and in the truck they were driving. And because they could triangulate all of it, and it was a rural highway and there were no other competing cell phones, they were able to find the 3 boys.
That is so awesome. I'm glad there was justice in that case. So, Kay, to my point, you deal with this kind of stuff every day. What are some, because all of us have things coming at us or hard things. And so I think it would be awesome, we share moment, to share tips or tricks that you do to help you just ground yourself, come back to reality so that the hard things in life don't weigh you down.
Okay.
What are some of the things you do?
So, first off, if you love true crime, I always tell people, this is actually a soapbox I get on the radio show. I have a big pet peeve with people who go onto social media posts that are like death announcements or stories about a car accident or whatever. And they choose in the comments to say words like, well, this should be the lesson for everybody to wear their seatbelt. You think you're helping somebody doing that? Because you're not.
No.
This is ludicrous, and do not do that. But you know what you can do? You can call somebody you love, like you would call Allie.
Right.
And you would have a conversation with her and you would say, I know sometimes I nag you, but please make sure you put on your seatbelt, because that person that we saw die on Interstate 15, they probably would be alive if they'd been wearing their seatbelt. So let's jointly learn from this and be better together.
Right.
Do you see how much more proactive
yes,
that is?
You turned it into a learning moment, teaching moment.
Yes, for the people that you love. And so I try to do that with the crime cases that I cover. I try to do it in the podcast. I try to do it with my loved ones, because if I'm going to be engaged in this information, I want it to be for good reasons.
I love that.
So that's one thing I try to do. I also try to find peace for myself. It's much harder in East Idaho in the winter because I don't walk as much, but I get great joy from being outside in the sunshine. And when I walk my 6 miles or my 5.5 miles or whatever, it's the same as when you go play tennis.
Yes.
It is rejuvenating to me.
Our bodies are meant to move. Mm-hmm. So and everyone needs it.
And I take that time and I don't listen to true crime during that time. And I don't listen to politics. I'll find a novel or like the Humorman podcast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, something like that, so that I am working on like my creative skills or on, a self-help or something like that. So I try to carve out those times and not have it be politics or crime focused.
I like that. Anything else you do?
I don't know. I don't think I always do it good.
So when you take breaks, when you go on vacation,
I do. I sign off for a minute. Like yesterday, I didn't check any true crime stories because I was done. Well, I should say for about a 24-hour period, I didn't check any true crime stories because I was done writing and recording on Saturday. I took Sunday off, and I didn't look up true crime stories till last night when I wrote the story about the Connecticut guy.
Okay, so there's not like this compulsion, like I missed something I need to check.
No.
What about with news talk? Like
That
do
one
you
I don't do as
constantly
well.
check news?
All the time because
Yeah.
I'm getting headlines for my co-host every
Right.
night, audio clips for my co-host every night that he then preps when he gets here the next morning. So yeah, there is no break from that, and that's not healthy. But it's the job I do.
It's the truth. I mean, I rarely get breaks from my shopping apps.
I'm so proud of you for that.
Do you want to know? I have taken one step, positive step forward. You get text reminders. Do you get texts?
Oh yeah,
Like about
Nordstrom
sales?
Rack all the time.
I still get theirs, but I was getting a lot, and I started like stop.
Unsubscribing.
Yes. So I just stop, and then it's taking me off. So I'm not getting constantly bombarded with, oh, this sell, and now there's this perk. Because I love a deal. The
Me
single mom in me
too.
is like, oh, I can get something for less. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Even if I don't need
Well,
it.
we love our clothes.
I know.
It's just part of us.
Well, and I'll bring this to I'll put a positive spin on it. The training that I've been doing the last 22 days to Miracles with David Guillaume, and it's Kabbalah focused, it justified my shopping for me, which is I was like, maybe that's why I sought this out. But taking care of your vessel, do not look at my vessel right now. But it is actually the way you show up in the world. So if you take care of your body, then you're taking care of what's holding your soul, which allows your light to come out. So unintentionally or intentionally, whether I was doing it, by choosing what I wear and being intentional and looking good and showing up in the world like that, it just opens yourself up to opportunities to help others and be creative and be your best self. So I'm going to keep shopping and looking good.
right.
Even if it's in an
totally,
LA sweatshirt because you stayed up
watching the
night
game.
before.
I totally believe in this. I would always ask my girls to get ready for school. There was no rolling out of bed and just showing up for school. That wasn't an option in my home. And they probably at times were so annoyed with me, but I don't believe you're your best self when you have morning breath and you look like
No.
crap. And I just
You
don't. I don't
always
believe in
brush
that.
your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a ball cap is an accessory for me right now. And I am a little I wore teed off because I'm a little teed off because I'm a little tired from that game
Look
going
how
so
cute
late.
you can still look even when you're casual, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Well, and there's opposite ends of the spectrum, and you don't have to be like heels and a suit every day.
Yeah.
But you can accessorize and
Take
make
care of
things
yourself.
cute. And yeah, and those are the kind of people that I tend to
Gravitate
to, and then respect, right? I'm going to take advice from a fitness professional that actually looks fit.
Mm-hmm.
Or a financial advisor that actually takes care of his body and the way he shows up. Because if he's neglecting his body and other parts of his life, then is he going to neglect me as a client? That's how I feel.
There's a philosophy out there that you can learn a lot about a person by how they treat their money.
Mm-hmm.
If their dollar bills are wadded up and they have no idea how many they have and they're just pulling them out and it's falling on the floor, that's probably a good sign of how the rest of their life is structured. If they go months and months without checking their bank balance or knowing where their money's going, that's going to be indicative of some behaviors in their regular everyday life. If they're too hyper focused on the money, that's also indicative. Like how you treat your money.
I do like my bills in order, sequential order, and the same direction.
Yeah. Well,
I can't have
people
the
who work
ones
retail,
and then the fives this way. I'm like, nope.
People who worked retail have had to know how to do that because that was required. But I just think even just in general, if you're just flippant with your money and you don't know how much you have, you're probably going to be flippant with other parts of your life.
Yeah, that's true.
But if you're over controlling of your money, you might be over controlling about other parts of your life. It's just a good barometer. It's not always 100% accurate, but I think it's a good barometer of how you treat things.
I agree. So, takeaways from today. we'll bring it full circle. Happy Halloween. We tried to spook you a little, but as always, we want to inspire.
Yeah.
We share. And like, we're just like, I'm super proud of Julie and all the things she does. And I just think it's amazing. So I want to give a shout out to you for that. And then we got a snippet of crime in, and we'll be back to the good, wholesome stories and sharing people's stories. And if there is something you want to hear or a topic you want us to cover, please DM us. And just keep listening. Yeah. We love you.
I'll shout out the podcast really fast. Rise in Crime is
Rise in Crime.
Yeah, Rise spelled traditionally RISE. The N is N''crime. So Rise in Crime. It's a play on words, rise and shine, but Rise in Crime.
And there's a stack of pancakes. So if you're a visual person, looking for a logo or an icon, again, Oh No Media that's actually like how I found if you type in Oh No Media, it just comes up. Yeah. And then
Murder with My Husband is the joint podcast between Peyton and Garrett Moreland. And then Peyton does a solo podcast, Into the Dark. And that deals with like conspiracy theories and a little bit of the more spooky portion of crime. I'm the news portion. That's the spooky portion. And then on Murder with My Husband, they tell us a crime story from beginning to end, and Peyton tells it and he reacts to it, which is why their media company is called Oh No Media, because Garrett is very well known for going, oh no.
Yeah.
He does that all the time. Oh no.
Well, I look forward to Oh No Bagels is it bagels because it's like the O?
Yeah, that is the logo. So it says O in regular font, and then no, the O in no is
the bagel.
The bagel.
Well, I love bagels, so I'm excited to try
Coming
an
to
Oh
Utah
No
soon.
bagel
and
maybe a Rise in Crime pancake house.
Maybe we need to do that.
Why not? Everyone loves pancakes,
right? Shouldn't Smitty's be sponsoring my podcast?
Probably so. All right, thank you,
thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us today on the We Share podcast.
If you've loved what you've heard, please give us a 5-star rating, tell your friends, and share this show.
You can also follow us for recipes, lifestyle and fashion tips, book reviews, and more on WeSharePodcast.com.
Join our Share Squad and sign up for our newsletter there.
We would love to connect with you.
We share on TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram. Give us a follow.
A big goodbye squeeze and sending you all our love from Alex and Julie.
Join us next week on the We Share podcast.